Well, good morning, guys. Yes, I am recording this right before school. Let's open up your notes to representing non-proportional relationships. So open it up. If I go too fast, hit that pause button. And of course, I'm going to be asking you some questions. So, verbal description. A commercial pest control company charges businesses $2.50 per cubic inch of pesticides used, plus a service fee of $50 for the treatment. So let me get my little pen out here. Oh, let's do pink today. Here's a key to look for. The word that says per, that's going to be the one that goes with the X. So if we're looking at a non-proportional relationship, we're looking at Y equals MX plus B. And the per is going to go with the X because that per is going to multiply with how many. And then you have your flat rate or your service fee. That's going to be the B, also known as your y-intercept. So when we make the equation, we can say y equals 250. We don't have to put the 0 when we're writing it in an equation. X plus 50. Okay, so here's the process that takes place. If we do 0 inches, so we would say 0, let's put that down here so you can see what's going on. 250x plus 50. Okay, so if we go 0, where the x is, because this is our x, this is our y. So if the 0 is where the x is, then that would be 0. So all we have left is 50. Let me show you what we did. We did 250 times 0 plus 50. Okay? So now let's say we did 50 inches. So we would go 50. So 50 times 250. So let's put that here so you know what's going on. $2.50 times 50 plus 50. Do you see what we did there? So now we're going to go plus 50, and that would be 175. Okay? So then let's do 100. I'm not going to do 100. You do 100. Did you get it? You should have gotten 300. Now, if you didn't get 300, let's talk through what you did. You would have gone 2.50 times 100, and then plus 50. So it would have been 250, because 2.50 would be 250, plus 50 is 300. Okay? I'll do the 150, because 150 is sort of an odd number. 150 times 2.5 plus 50 would be 425. Okay, I want you to do the 200. Did you get 550? I hope so. And then we would do 675. And lastly, it would be 800. Okay, graphing this. Again, this is your X. This is your Y. Remember when we graph, this is a point basically. This is 0, 50. 50, 175. 100, 300. Okay, so when we're at 0, we're at 50. When we're at 100, we're going to go up to, oh wait, let me do 50 first. When we're at 50, we go to 175, which would be about right there. When we're at 100, we'd go to 300. When we're at 150, so 150, we'd go to 425. And then when we're at 200, we're going to go to 550. And when we're at 250, we're going to go to 675. And then lastly, 300, we're going to go up to 800. And there's your nice straight line. Do I have where I can draw a line on here? Let's see, shapes, line. So we'll go from here. There's my nice straight line going through those points. Okay, so let's do the next one, or let's talk about this graph that we did. Determine if the situation above is proportional or non-proportional. So in this situation, it's going to be non-proportional because we have that plus number. Remember, we have the y equals 2.5x plus 50. That right there is what made it non-proportional. Plus, it didn't start at 0, 0. It didn't go through 0, 0. So this would be non-proportional. Okay? What is the y-intercept? Now remember, this right here, this b. So y equals mx plus b. Whatever that b is, that's the y-intercept. But you can also look at the graph and you can see the y-intercept. This is the y, this is the x. Where it intercepts on the graph is at 50. So our y-intercept is 50. Okay, but what does it represent in this situation? In this situation, it represents the service fee, and we learned that from the verbal. See, this service fee. So the y-intercept represents the service fee. What is the rate of change and what does it represent? Okay, rate of change, sometimes next year you'll call it slope. This year we just call it rate of change. Slope, rate of change, same thing. Slope and rate of change is the same thing. That's the one that's changing all the time. So if you go right here, see how the m is changing based on the x. So if the x goes up, the m goes up. If the x goes down, the m goes down, right? So this is your rate of change, and how you can remember it is it changes. The 50 stays the same every time. It doesn't change. But this down here, this changes every time. Okay, so my rate of change is $2.50. And so $2.50, and that represents the cost per inch. Remember, and we got that from right here, per cubic inch. Okay, and then lastly, if the total cost is 1050, then how many cubic inches of pesticide were used? Well, now we have, okay, remember up here, this is the total cost. Y is my total cost. So we're going to, here's our equation. We're going to put that total cost where the Y is. So 1050 equals 2.5x plus 50. And we can solve this doing a two-step equation. Remember those two-step equations? They never go away. Here it is again. So then I'm going to minus my 50, and I get 1000 equals 2.5x. Divide by 2.5, divide by 2.5. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to give you the answer to this. So x equals 400. Okay, let's move on to the next page. Wow, we don't know what's going on. We have to really interpret here. So we've got Joe's savings account. See this right here? And here's his account balance. Here's the number of weeks. Okay. Now let's look at our equation. It looks like, oh, he's starting up here. Let's put that in there. That's where Joe's starting. What's that called? What's that starting point or that number that's by itself called? Did you get it right? I hope so. It's called the y-intercept. The y-intercept. Okay, so that's where we're starting. And then it looks like he takes out $10 a week. Okay, we can do this. So Joe starts with $180. He withdraws or takes out, withdraws $10 a week. That's what's going on. Okay? So then we're going to see what will his account balance be after 6 weeks. That's what we're going to find out. So after 0 weeks, here's our equation. His account balance is going to be 180. Okay? After 1 week, what's his account balance going to be? Do you know? Okay, I'm hoping you put 170. And then you can kind of see the pattern here. We're going down by, and again, you could write it here if you wanted to. 180 minus 10 times 0. 180 minus 10 times 1. 180 minus 10 times 2. And so on and so on. So I'm going to let you finish that up, and I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Did you finish your graph? Did you get the questions right? I hope so. Okay, let's look at this last scenario. We have Speedy Cleaner, okay, and then we have 0 shirts, the process, and it's $3. Well, that right there tells me it's going to be plus 3. Plus 3. Now, I wonder how much it's going to cost per shirt. Well, let's see. If I do 2 shirts. Now, remember, we can find this. Let's see. 2 shirts. So the change in, here's our change. Change in Y. This is our Y. This is our X. The change in Y is 1. The change in X is 2. Which one goes on top? Do you remember? I hope you said that the 1 goes on top. So our change would be 1 over 2. But we're talking about money, so we don't talk about half a money. What do we call that? We call that 50 cents. So our change is 50 cents. There it is. So Y equals 50 cents, 0.5, X plus 3. Now, a verbal description would be Speedy Clean Dry Cleaner charges $3 plus 50 cents per shirt, because this says number of shirts. Okay? So $3 plus 50 cents per shirt. That would be our verbal description. I want to see who's listening to this. So the code word today is red. The code word today is red. I'll tell you what to do with that during class. Okay, so I'm going to ask you some questions about this. I'm going to let you fill this out, but I'll ask some questions. Okay, thank you.